Continue with the broadcast this morning on this day of Jummah on News and Views, and it's time now for another update from Media's reporter live in Turkey, and we're going live across to Hasina Gori. Hasina, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam. Today we are on the southern side of Turkey, almost on the border of Syria, in an area called Kilis. It's one of the smallest provinces in this region, and we just got here a little while ago and are trying to find and get a sense of the situation here. We know it's one of the areas that were affected by the earthquakes behind me. Some of the buildings, I'm hoping you can see, that were damaged during this earthquake. The town seems to be still vacant with some residents here. We're told that those that live in this area are Turkish nationals, but also have been over the years filled by Syrian refugees, as this is one of the areas that borders Syria on the northern side, and the roads lead directly to Aleppo, one of the regions that we know have been affected by the instability and war that's been ravishing that area. So we know that these are some of the inhabitants that have been here over the last few years. Now, following the earthquake, we've told that those that Syrian refugees who moved to other regions are now returning to this area as they're internally displaced once again. We've got a sense, from just driving through the city this morning, you feel that mourning once again in this country. We know that as a nation, as a whole, it is a period of mourning following that millions that have been displaced and the thousands who lost their lives and homes just over a week ago. What we're also getting a sense of is that many businesses are still closed, and it's not just because of the lack of stock and stuff being brought in, but also for fear of looting, because there is not enough to go around for everyone right now, and there is fears that should things continue, that the shops will be vandalized or looted just due to the lack of resources. So we know, and we've seen stores, and when we were in Malatya the other day, we saw stores removing their stock. As you drive through the areas, most of the rest stops, most of the stores on the way don't have much stock in it, and if they do, it's very basic, and they keep restocking as it's needed. But here in the area that we're in Kilis, I spoke with an NGO yesterday, and they said that there's a lot of Syrian refugees here as well, who are also trying to sometimes return home because they feel that they're unstable here in South Africa, in Turkey, and they rather return home and be with their loved ones who are also affected. What is also important to note is that seismic activity is continuing in the region and in this area. The last reports I saw was nearing 5,000 tremors that continue to shake this earth continuously. We've been lucky enough, and I've been lucky enough not to have felt any of those tremors, but a lot of the data that's coming out are showing that there are some tremors as large as 5.1 magnitude as early as this morning that have been reported and felt in various areas of southern and central Turkey, some as far as Europe and in other countries as well. So it's not as if the earthquake and its effects have stopped, and it's uncertain when that will stop. So there is that instability as well. People are scared of returning to their homes. People are scared of what the future is going to hold. And I don't think I read a report yesterday, from one of the other journalists on the ground, saying that those on the ground have not even had a chance to grieve properly. They're just trying to survive at this stage. The earth shook at 4 a.m. in the morning on the 6th of February, and they've just been trying to survive since then, trying to find the basic necessities from food, clothes, shelter, ensuring that their children are safe. The children that have been left as the only survivors of families, their families who lost as much as a dozen family members at a time. Some are still waiting in hope that should the rubble move, and by some miracle, one of their loved ones is still alive, because we see reports of that, even of people that are being found alive under those rubbles. And I think at the very least, for some of them, they're just hoping that at least they will find the bodies of their families so they can give them a dignified burial. and that sense and that heaviness is in the air. If anyone has visited Turkey, before on holiday, it's a very vibrant city. It's not a city that's quiet. There's always sound, whether it's music, whether it's azan going in the background, whether it's people laughing and talking. And right now, there's this eerie silence in most of the towns that we go through. The jovialness and the camaraderie that usually Turkian people have and the Turkish nation has seems to be muted, and the air is just punctuated with the sounds of these either electrical machinery that are working in the background or drilling and digging through rubbles, and sadness, some of the tears of people. That's all you kind of hear and see walking through. And we've been to quite a few of the provinces since Monday, traveling from Gaziantep to Kahramanmaraş, and then going to Hatay and Takia, and then going up into Malatya, and then into Diyarbakir, and now in Kilik, which is one of the smallest provinces in this region, all affected by the earthquake and the twin earthquakes that devastated the country a week ago. And there's the numbers that are dying have continued to rise, and people are still taking stock of what happened. And I think also we should note that another issue that's going to come about is the internal displacement that's done, and what happens to those that have gone to Istanbul and gone to Ankara and Antalya, that don't have families to stay in the temporary shelters. How long will they be put up for? How long would aid be given for the people? And we have to take into cognizance that it's also extremely cold weather at the moment. It is in the middle of winter, and these all just compound this natural disaster that has taken place in this region.
Well, Hasina, Jazakallah for that. And I know it's not easy for you as well, moving around from place to place. And for journalists, early on, I spoke with a German journalist, and these are challenging times for people like yourselves as well in terms of moving around. And also at the same time, it's difficult to actually hide the emotion. Journalists sometimes, you are there to report, you are there to tell the world what you are seeing, what you are experiencing. But when you see all of that as well, we are human and we have emotions too.
I think that going to Hatay especially was very emotional for me. I decided to record a little bit of what I experienced there, and it's for me understanding that these are lives. I think sometimes when we report on things and we talk numbers and buildings, and it's easy to forget that um, these are human beings. These are people that we know, people that someone else knows, and actual lives. And I think that has been quite overwhelming at times to see. Also, just looking at people and watching them, break down. It's sometimes so hard to pick up that camera and put it in their face at that moment when they are in complete devastation and the entire life is, just broken. So I think that has been hard to experience. I think when it comes to the rest of the lack of resources and the hardship, I'm always reminding myself that we've chosen to put ourselves in the situation. Those that are in it did not have that choice. They did not have a chance to even prepare. Many of us that did come, a few days later, were able to prepare ourselves, bringing snacks or ensuring that we had our necessities so we don't have to go look for it. But those that were affected by this earthquake woke up to it. So I think it's also a very humbling opportunity to take cognizance of all the blessings that we have in our lives right now.
Well, Jazakallah for that, Hasina, and looking forward to all your reports coming through, inshallah. But for now, we wish you well. We wish you safety. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hasina Gori was us, our Salaamedia reporter live in Turkey. We come back. We've got one more interview lined up. We've got the chairman of Emerald Aviation, Murad Ismail, and we're also talking with the CEO of the company as well. And we are talking about tourism. We are talking about Nasir Ismail, who is the CEO of Fly Tokan, or is it Toshan? We'll just find out how to pronounce it. But this is quite an interesting development because we are talking about tourism, and we are talking about also cadet pilot training programs. Stay with us.